The Philippine National Police admits one of its utility workers died of pulmonary disease after receiving Dengvaxia vaccine. The alleged secretary of the Mount Carmel recruitment agency that sent Joanna Demafelis to Kuwait denies recruiting the Filipino OFW. The Department of Energy secures a public utility jeepney drivers a 1 peso per liter discount on fuel. Y News begins now.
From the UNTV News and Rescue Command Center in Quezon City, this is Y News.
Good evening. The Philippine National Police admits one suspected Dengvaxia-related death. Robbie De Guzman will tell us why.
The Philippine National Police admits that they have a utility worker who died due to pulmonary disease after receiving Dengvaxia vaccine. Since December 2017 to March 2018, there are 60 patients rushed to the emergency room of the PNP General Hospital after receiving the controversial vaccine. The 20-year-old utility worker of the PNP General Hospital received the Dengvaxia vaccine only once. According to the Chief of Clinics of the PNP-GH, all those who receive Dengvaxia undergo examination, including the utility man.
In-interview namin ang mga pasyente kung sila ba ay may nararamdamang karamdaman bago mabigyan ng Dengvaxia. Kinuha namin ng vital signs. Tapos kapag sila ay nakapasa dun sa screening siya bago mabigay ng bakuna.
After the injection, the utility man complained of muscle and throat pains. The patient was found to have a pneumonia.
Kami ay nag-base lang po sa history, PE, and laboratory examinations na available po. With regard to Dengvaxia vaccine, wala po kami correlation na nakikita sa ngayon po.
Of the 14,000 target, only 4,445 PNP personnel received Dengvaxia in all regional health services across the country after the PNP orders a stop in the vaccination program. 444 were from Region 1, 524 were from Region 3, and 539 from Region 4. 1,319 NCRPO cops received Dengvaxia, 297 were from ARMM, 388 are SAF, 12 are members of the AFSA group, and 934 are from the PNP-GH. 2 of the vaccinees developed appendicitis and rushed to other hospitals, while another is still confined at the PNP-GH. PNP Chief Director General Ronald De La Rosa already ordered the monitoring of PNP personnel who received Dengvaxia. Robbie De Guzman, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Department of Health, or DOH, will implement a major reshuffle among its senior officials while the investigation on the Dengvaxia controversy continues. Here's why from Aiko Miguel.
Health Secretary Francisco Duque III ordered yesterday a reshuffle among the department's undersecretaries, assistant secretaries, and directors. According to the DOH chief, the move will help ensure that no whitewash will happen in the investigation being conducted by the agency on the controversy involving the Dengvaxia vaccines. It can be recalled to officials of the Food and Drug Administration, or FDA, are transferred to other positions in connection with the said issue. Meanwhile, Duque also seeks to discuss with President Rodrigo Duterte the steps being taken by the agency regarding the controversy. The health chief says he will ask the president to allow them to use more than 300 million pesos from the 1.162 billion pesos worth of refund of the Sanofi Pasteur for the unused Dengvaxia vaccines. The DOH also seeks to be included in its yearly budget the allocation of funds for the medical supplies that will put to dengue kits.
I actually wrote the president to ask Congress. We will also write individually to the Senate President and to the Speaker. And the draft letters are already ready. That's going to be part of the issues I will take up with the President.
Duque says he will also ask the president to allow the agency to hire 500 surveillance officers who would be tasked to monitor the children who received Dengvaxia. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
The Department of Health or DOH will conduct a house-to-house immunization to help the public understand the importance of vaccination. The DOH admits the Dengvaxia controversy is affecting its other immunization programs. Nevertheless, the Health Department wants to keep up with its mandate to ensure public health safety. The house-to-house immunization program will administer vaccines against diseases like polio, hepatitis, and measles. The alleged secretary of the recruitment agency that sent Joanna Demafelis has denied recruiting the Filipino OFW. Roderick Mendoza will tell us why.
The National Bureau of Investigation invited the alleged secretary of Mount Carmel E-Global, the recruitment agency that sent Joanna Demafelis to Kuwait. Mariza Asanje Mohammed complied but says back then she was just a trainee. Her job was only to assist applicants in filling out application forms.
Hindi ako guilty at saka hindi ako recruiter. Hindi po ako recruiter ni Joanna.
She recalled Joanna was a walk-in applicant and texted Agnes Tuballes on applying with the agency. She says Joanna and Tuballes said they were cousins. The NBI cannot tell yet if the recruitment agency could be held liable for Joanna's fate, as it appears that Mount Carmel was a legitimate and licensed agency when it deployed Joanna in May 2014. The agency's license was revoked in January 2015.
May referral is pwede kang makakasuhan ng illegal recruitment, di ba? Depende sa magiging ano. Although at that time, license yung Mount Carmel.
The NBI says it is possible that there are other people accountable for Joanna's case, noting her contract had already ended in 2016 and she was supposed to return home. Joanna, however, decided to stay with the second employer.
Kung merong involved na tao na nag-refer sa kanya doon sa second employer niya, halimbawa, yun ang mananagot doon kung sino man yun.
NBI clarifies Mariza, who is now a manager of another recruitment agency, is not yet a suspect, but only a person of interest. Roderick Mendoza, UNTV, News and Rescue, Manila.
The Criminal Investigation and Detection Group will still investigate Agnes Tuballes, although she already denied direct involvement in the recruitment of Joanna Demafelis. Here's wire from Leia Ilagan.
Sana kinuha niyo muna ang side ko bago niyo ako inusgahan. Hindi po ako suspect, ngayon para akong lumabas na prime suspect.
Agnes Tuballes was emotional when she faced the media after surrendering to the CIDG Anti-Transnational Crime Unit last Tuesday. Tuballes was the aunt of Joanna Demafelis and the one who allegedly recruited the Filipina to Kuwait. She decided to surface to deny reports that she directly recruited Joanna, noting the issue is already affecting her family.
Sana kinuha niyo man lang yung side ko bago niyo ako pinalabas sa TV. Hindi mo alam yung mga anak ko, binubuli ngayon sa school. Hindi po ako ang pumatay kay Joanna.
Tuballes says she was working as a domestic helper in Hong Kong when Joanna sought her help to find work abroad. She then introduced the Our Lady of Mount Carmel Recruitment Agency as it offers free passport processing and non-payment of placement fee as well as non-deduction of salary. Tuballes also apologized to the Demafelis family, saying she did not expect that something horrible will happen to Joanna.
Hindi ko ginusto na mamatay si Joanna doon. Never ko pinangarap na makadisgrasya ng tao.
Jeepney drivers will enjoy a 1 peso discount on fuel. Here's why from Monokson.
Jeepney drivers all over the country can get at least 1 peso per liter fuel discount. This after the Energy Department appealed to oil companies to help jeepney drivers who are most affected by the excise tax on petroleum products. DOE appealed to all oil companies, but as of now, only 3 replied on their call. Earlier, a memorandum of agreement was signed by the DOE, Shell, Petron, and Phoenix to formalize the agreement on fuel discount.
We really appealed to their corporate social responsibility. It's voluntary.
Oil companies say that they still depend on the dictate of the market on the amount and time of giving discounts, especially so when prices of oil products changes weekly.
And the timing of the discount will also be dependent on market conditions as we see fit moving forward.
DOE says as of now only public utility jeepneys can avail of the discount. Eventually, though, all public utility vehicles will also get it. Jeepney drivers are glad of the said fuel discount.
Sa presyo, malaking bagay na rin sa amin yun.
Kahit pa paano, mabawasan yung, siyempre yung kita namin, doon na pupunta sa diesel eh.
But according to a transport group, the DOE must focus on other things that is more important.
Dapat dyan yung matingkad na investigasyon ng ating Department of Energy. Dahil kung halimbawa natin ang dapat ibaba ay ng gasolina ay 3 piso, 2 piso, ay bakit binababa lamang kay 1 peso? Dapat yun ang imbestigahan.
Transport groups believe that the Energy Department can help the public if it can regulate the price of oil products. Currently, the oil deregulation law is in effect, meaning the government has no control on oil prices whether there is a price increase or price reduction. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The government is expected to decide soon on whether or not to use the 48 Dalian trains purchased from China. Here's why from Joanna Demafelis.
This video recently went viral on social media. It shows the Dalian trains properly running during a test run. It drew positive comments and some netizens even asked why the said trains are not being used. In response, Department of Transportation or DOTR Undersecretary for Railways Timothy John Batan says they could not just use the Dalian trains without proper assessment. Batan explains they still have to properly examine the train's signaling system, compatibility and power supply to ensure its safety for public use.
We are talking about 500,000 passengers every day. Hindi po basta-bastang dapat nagdedesisyon.
The independent audit team TUV Rainland continues to conduct series of testing of the Dalian trains. It is expected to release the result of its examination on the 10th of March. The government will then use the results as basis in whether or not to use the said trains. It has been 2 years since the Dalian trains were delivered to the Philippines from China. However, passengers have yet to benefit from the said trains, although MRT operations frequently experience glitches. Meanwhile, the DOTR reveals the operation of MRT did not experience disruptions from February 22 to 28.
Siguro sineswerte tayo, nandyan yung spare parts na kailangan, na-addressan kagad, walang mga taong nagbubukas ng pinto. Sana magtuloy-tuloy.
For now, only 7 to 9 MRT trains are running daily. Joanna Demafelis, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Senator Grace Poe opposes the proposed terminal rationalization plan of the Manila International Airport Authority and pushes for the NAIA expansion instead. Nel Maribohok will tell us why.
Manila International Airport Authority General Manager Eddie Monreal today presented to the Senate the proposed terminal rationalization plan for the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. The plan states that NAIA Terminals 1 and 3 will cater the international flights, while Terminals 2 and 4 will be for domestic flights. This is the initial step of the MIAA to solve the airport congestion in Metro Manila. Some airline companies, however, disagreed to the proposal, saying it will inconvenience many passengers, especially those with connecting flights.
The United Kingdom, all of Canada, both domestic and international are under one terminal para mas seamless po yung connection.
But Monreal insists this may help level the playing field for airline companies operating in NAIA terminals.
Walang advantage sa Philippine Airlines, walang advantage sa Cebu Pacific. That's where we're coming from. But the congestion, I'll just state it on record, that there might still be congestions.
For Senate Committee on Public Services Chair Senator Grace Poe, however, the transfer of airlines company to other airport terminals is not the solution to ease congestion.
Ang talagang solusyon dyan ay hindi paglilipat ng terminal ng mga ibang airline, kundi pag-expand ng NAIA.
To date, a consortium has submitted to the government a 350 billion peso project proposal for the rehabilitation and expansion of the NAIA. Nel Maribuho, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
Next on Y News. The Supreme Court confirms the Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno was forced to take indefinite leave. And Health Secretary Francisco Duque III and some senators paid visit to evacuation centers in Albay. Y News will be right back. I'm Darlene Basingan. Stay tuned for Angel Ocasio III. Good evening.
Y News tonight. The Philippine National Police admits one of the PNP's utility workers died of pulmonary disease after receiving Dengvaxia vaccine. The alleged secretary of the Mount Carmel recruitment agency that sent Joanna Demafelis to Kuwait denies recruiting the Filipino OFW. And the Supreme Court confirms that Chief Maria Lourdes Sereno was forced to take indefinite leave. Good evening. The Philippine National Police admits one suspected Dengvaxia-related death. Robbie De Guzman will tell us why.
The Philippine National Police admits that they have a utility worker who died due to pulmonary disease after receiving Dengvaxia vaccine. Since December 2017 to March 2018, there are 60 patients rushed to the emergency room of the PNP General Hospital after receiving the controversial vaccine. The 20-year-old utility worker of the PNP General Hospital received the Dengvaxia vaccine only once. According to the chief of clinics of the PNP-GH, all those who receive Dengvaxia undergo examination, including the utility man.
In-interview namin ang mga pasyente kung sila ba ay may nararamdamang karamdaman bago mabigyan ng Dengvaxia. Kinuha namin ng vital signs. Tapos kapag sila ay nakapasa dun sa screening siya bago mabigay ng bakuna.
After the injection, the utility man complained of muscle and throat pains. The patient was found to have a pneumonia.
Kami ay nag-base lang po sa history, PE, and laboratory examinations na available po. With regard to Dengvaxia vaccine, wala po kami correlation na nakikita sa ngayon po.
Of the 14,000 target, only 4,445 PNP personnel received Dengvaxia in all regional health services across the country after the PNP orders a stop in the vaccination program. 444 were from Region 1, 524 were from Region 3, and 539 from Region 4. 1,319 NCRPO cops received Dengvaxia, 297 were from ARMM, 388 are SAF, 12 are members of the AVSA group, and 934 are from the PNP-GH. 2 of the vaccinees developed appendicitis and rushed to other hospitals, while another is still confined at the PNP-GH. PNP Chief Director General Ronald De La Rosa already ordered the monitoring of PNP personnel who received Dengvaxia. Robbie De Guzman, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The alleged secretary of the recruitment agency that sent Joanna Demafelis has denied recruiting the Filipino OFW. Roderick Mendoza will tell us why.
The National Bureau of Investigation invited the alleged secretary of Mount Carmel E-Global, the recruitment agency that sent Joanna Demafelis to Kuwait. Mariza Asanje Mohammed complied, but says back then she was just a trainee. Her job was only to assist applicants in filling out application forms.
Hindi ako guilty at saka hindi ako recruiter. Hindi po ako recruiter ni Joanna.
She recalled Joanna was a walk-in applicant and texted Agnes Tuballes on applying with the agency. She says Joanna and Tuballes said they were cousins. The NBI cannot tell yet if the recruitment agency could be held liable for Joanna's fate, as it appears that Mount Carmel was a legitimate and licensed agency when it deployed Joanna in May 2014. The agency's license was revoked in January 2015.
May referral is pwede kang makakasuhan ng illegal recruitment, di ba? Depende sa magiging ano. Although at that time, license yung Mount Carmel.
The NBI says it is possible that there are other people accountable for Joanna's case, noting her contract had already ended in 2016 and she was supposed to return home. Joanna, however, decided to stay with the second employer.
Kung merong involved na tao na nag-refer sa kanya doon sa second employer niya, halimbawa, yun ang mananagot doon kung sino man yun.
NBI clarifies Marisa, who is now a manager of another recruitment agency, is not yet a suspect, but only a person of interest. Roderick Mendoza, UNTV, News and Rescue, Manila.
The Demafelis family does not blame Agnes Tuballes for the fate of their loved one, Joanna. However, the mother of the OFW called on Tuballes to help find justice for Joanna. Maris Federes will tell us why.
The mother of Joanna Demafelis wants to talk to Agnes Tuballes to ask her to provide information regarding the death of her daughter. According to Eva Demafelis, Agnes previously told her about the individuals who helped her work in other countries without paying any fee. Eva says she tried to stop Joanna, but she insisted since she wanted to help her family. Eva says she is not blaming Agnes, but the Demafelis family wants the agency that handled the case of their daughter to be held liable. This is why Eva calls on Agnes to cooperate in the investigation to capture those who committed neglect.
Wala naman na sa paminsaron ko nga amo na abi matabo. Siyempre na ngayo man kami bulig sa OWA.
Eva says they did not think of contacting Agnes even when they could not talk to Joanna, noting that they were confident that the recruitment agency handling her was good. They were also confident that Agnes would not bring Joanna to an illegal recruiter.
Hindi naman namin siya sinisisi. Kaya lang sa ganitong pangyayari, tulungan niya naman kami nga mahuli na yung agency nila. Siyempre kilala niya yan, hindi ba?
Maris Federes, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Health Secretary Francisco Duque III and some senators visited several evacuation centers in Albay. Leslie Longbowen will tell us why.
Department of Health or DOH Secretary Francisco Duque III, along with several local officials, went first to the maternity tent hospital at the San Andres resettlement area in the town of Santo Domingo in Albay this morning. The maternity tent hospital in Santo Domingo is the primary healthcare provider of evacuees there, including pregnant women. This is the maternity tent hospital in Santo Domingo. In this area is the labor room being managed by Ms. Raquel. They are checking on, among others, the condition of pregnant women. Giasel Balatinsayo fell in line early to have her 2-year-old infant named Chloe undergo medical checkup. Chloe was born inside the resettlement site.
Papacheck up kami dito ngayon. Okay, maganda sila mag-assist ng mga evacuate.
Usually naman mga dumarating kasi mga OPD cases man lang. So yung mga common man, ubos-sipon, magtatae, na-management po dito. Unless na lang yung mga tulad ng mga emergency cases tulad ng aksidente, syempre nire-refer man kaagad namin.
According to Secretary Duque, it is their priority to check on the health condition of evacuees, particularly pregnant women, infants, and children, especially if they still have to stay longer at evacuation centers.
Sa mga are ay maging ligtas o safe ang kanilang deliveries panganak.
Alongside this, several senators also visited Albay to check on the situation of displaced families at several evacuation centers in Daraga and Legazpi City. Among those who visited the province were Senators Joey Villanueva, JV Ejercito, Nancy Binay, Sonny Angara, and Mig Subiri.
Gusto nating maging parte. We are giving away 6,000 plus hygiene kits doon sa 4 na elementary schools dito sa Albay, dito po sa Legazpi at sa Daraga.
Leslie Longbowen, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
The Supreme Court confirmed that Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno was forced to take an indefinite leave by fellow magistrates. Sereno apologized for the confusion, but maintained the rules of the High Court do not provide for an indefinite leave. Roderick Mendoza will tell us why.
13 justices of the Supreme Court slammed the camp of Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno for confusing the public. In a statement read by SC spokesperson Attorney Theodore Te, the justices said it was the decision of the court and bank that Sereno take an indefinite leave. They said that after consulting Senior Justice Antonio Carpio and Justice Presbitero Velasco Jr., Sereno agreed to take the leave starting today.
13 of the justices present arrived at a consensus that the Chief Justice should take an indefinite leave. Several reasons were mentioned by the various justices.
But Sereno's camp announced to the media that she is taking a wellness leave to prepare for the impeachment trial. The justices, however, said Sereno did not request for a rescheduling of her wellness leave, which was set for March 12 to 23. The court and bank regrets the confusion caused by the announcement of Sereno's spokespersons, which they believe has seriously damaged the court's integrity.
In the ordinary course of events, the court expected the Chief Justice to cause the announcement only of what was really agreed upon, without any modification or embellishment. This matter shall be dealt with in a separate proceeding.
In a statement read by her spokesperson, Sereno, however, maintains there is no such thing as indefinite leave in the rules.
I had agreed to go on an indefinite leave, but I am also bound by the appropriate administrative rules. The rules do not contain any provision on quote-unquote indefinite leave. I requested yesterday in writing the rescheduling of my wellness leave in view of my restudy of the rules.
Sereno also pointed out that she has not resigned and will not resign. But for now, Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio will sit as the acting Chief Justice. Roderick Mendoza, UNTV, News and Rescue, Manila.
The impeachment committee will use as new possible grounds for impeachment the mixed-up statements of Chief Justice Sereno on her indefinite leave. Grace Casan will tell us why.
House Impeachment Committee Chairman Reynaldo Umali believes that the varying statements of Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno regarding her indefinite leave is a clear indication of a mental problem. He adds that Sereno's changing statements verifies the information that surfaced in the impeachment hearing that she always reverses the decision of the SCN Bank. One of the grounds in the impeachment complaint against Sereno was her failing marks in the psychiatric and psychological evaluation.
Parang may sarili siyang mundo, iba yung tingin niya sa lahat. Yun lang eto, tulad ng Maute, tulad ng Arcal, meron silang pinag-usapan, pero iba yung lumalabas sa kanyang isipan. Siguro this will fall under betrayal of public trust.
According to Umali, because of what was revealed today, the Supreme Court will be facing a serious problem if the Chief Justice will not be removed from her post.
I'm almost certain na kung ikaw yung Chief Justice and you were vindicated by your acquittal, babalikan mo lahat yan. Lahat ng nagsabi sa iyo ng hindi maayos, maganda.
Umali is determined to order Sereno's spokespersons to explain in the committee on their flip-flopping statements in the media. Sereno's spokesperson Attorney Jojo Lacanilao explains that what they stated before the media was the information that they actually had during the interview.
We were working as spokespersons on information available to us at the time we were engaged and asked questions by the press. The developments and discussions on what transpired during the N-Bank on Tuesday were not privy to us.
The legal team of the impeachment committee is now finalizing its report to be voted upon on March 8. Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
As the Fire Prevention Month kicks off today, the agency assures the government is doing all it can to address its problem of not having enough number of men and equipment, particularly fire trucks. Here's why from Joanna.
The Bureau of Fire Protection still continues to experience problems in terms of number of firemen and fire trucks. 300 municipalities have no fire trucks. However, the BFP says the government is already addressing the problem.
So yung 1 billion na peso na ibinigay na additional fund ng ating presidente ay pambili natin ng aerial ladder, fire truck na tanker, yung mga SCBA natin, saka yung ating personal protective equipment natin.
The government targets to complete the needed number of fire trucks within 3 to 5 years. The BFP is also now processing the hiring of 2,000 firemen this year. Meanwhile, fire incidents have dropped last year. Based on the data of BFP, the number of fire incidents in 2017 dropped by 26% compared to that of 2016. Still, a major cause of fire incidents are faulty electricity lines.
Yung mga bahay-bahay kasi na yan, hindi na natin na-inspection yan. Kaya kayo mismo, yung mga ating kababayan mismo, sila na mismo yung mag-conduct ng pagsisiyasat sa kanilang kanya-kanyang mga tahanan.
Meanwhile, BFP's event today feature a simulation exercise on how to respond in the event of a magnitude 7.2 earthquake or the big one hits the country. The event is part of the Fire Prevention Month, which kicks off this year. The Fire Prevention Month is being celebrated every March. During the said event, the BFP conducts various campaigns to remind the public on how to avoid fire, especially during summer months. The UNTV News and Rescue Team also joined in the Fire Prevention Month rally of the BFP. The agency also ended the program with a unity dance with a colorful fire truck shower. Joanna Demafelis, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Up next on Y News. Malacanang defends that the Philippines and China's joint exploration in West Philippine Sea is not unconstitutional. Authorities seized nearly 300 kilograms of beef and pork in La Union. Stay tuned for Darlene Basingan. I'm Angelo Castro III, and this is Y News. Good evening.
On Y News Tonight. The Philippine National Police admits one of its utility workers died of pulmonary disease after receiving Dengvaxia vaccine. The alleged secretary of the Mount Carmel recruitment agency that sent Joanna Demafelis to Kuwait denies recruiting the Filipino OFW. And Bureau of Customs seizes 300,000 pesos worth of marijuana oil at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport. Good evening. The Philippine National Police admits one suspected Dengvaxia-related death. Robbie de Guzman will tell us why.
The Philippine National Police admits that they have a utility worker who died due to pulmonary disease after receiving Dengvaxia vaccine. Since December 2017 to March 2018, there are 60 patients rushed to the emergency room of the PNP General Hospital after receiving the controversial vaccine. The 20-year-old utility worker of the PNP General Hospital received the Dengvaxia vaccine only once. According to the chief of clinics of the PNP-GH, all those who received Dengvaxia undergo examination, including the utility man.
In-interview namin ang mga pasyente kung sila ba ay may nararamdamang karamdaman bago mabigyan ng Dengvaxia. Kinuha namin ng vital signs. Tapos kapag sila ay nakapasa dun sa screening siya bago mabigyan ng bakuna.
After the injection, the utility man complained of muscle and throat pains. The patient was found to have a pneumonia.
Kami ay nag-base lang po sa history, PE, and laboratory examinations na available po. With regard to Dengvaxia vaccine, wala po kami correlation na nakikita sa ngayon po.
Of the 14,000 target, only 4,445 PNP personnel received Dengvaxia in all regional health services across the country after the PNP orders a stop in the vaccination program. 444 were from Region 1, 524 were from Region 3, and 539 from Region 4. 1,319 NCRPO cops received Dengvaxia, 297 were from ARMM, 388 are SAF, 12 are members of the AFSA group and 934 are from the PNP-GH. 2 of the vaccinees developed appendicitis and rushed to other hospitals, while another is still confined at the PNP-GH. PNP Chief Director General Ronald De La Rosa already ordered the monitoring of PNP personnel who received Dengvaxia. Robbie De Guzman, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The alleged secretary of the recruitment agency that sent Joanna Demafelis has denied recruiting the Filipino OFW. Roderick Mendoza will tell us why.
The National Bureau of Investigation invited the alleged secretary of Mount Carmel E-Global, the recruitment agency that sent Joanna Demafelis to Kuwait. Mariza Asanje Mohammed complied but says back then she was just a trainee. Her job was only to assist applicants in filling out application forms.
Hindi ako guilty at saka hindi ako recruiter. Hindi po ako recruiter ni Joanna.
She recalled Joanna was a walk-in applicant and texted Agnes Tuballes on applying with the agency. She says Joanna and Tuballes said they were cousins. The NBI cannot tell yet if the recruitment agency could be held liable for Joanna's fate, as it appears that Mount Carmel was a legitimate and licensed agency when it deployed Joanna in May 2014. The agency's license was revoked in January 2015.
May referral is pwede kang makakasuhan ng illegal recruitment, di ba? Depende sa pagiging ano. Although at that time, license yung Mount Carmel.
The NBI says it is possible that there are other people accountable for Joanna's case, noting her contract had already ended in 2016 and she was supposed to return home. Joanna, however, decided to stay with the second employer.
Kung merong involved na tao na nag-refer sa kanya doon sa second employer niya, halimbawa, yun ang mananagot doon kung sino man yun.
NBI clarifies Mariza, who is now a manager of another recruitment agency, is not yet a suspect, but only a person of interest. Roderick Mendoza, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
In other news, Malacanang believes that the action recently taken by US-based Umidyar Network, donating its $1.5 million worth of Philippine depositary receipts to Rappler, strengthens the decision of the Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, to cancel the registration of the said online news agency. PDR is a form of investment, and based on the findings of the SEC, Rappler has been found to have violated certain regulations when its PDRs contain provision that no articles of incorporation and bylaws of Rappler will be modified without 2/3 of the votes of its PDR holders. Umidyar Network is one of the PDR holders of Rappler. With this, Presidential Spokesperson Secretary Harry Roque announced that Rappler is still banned in Malacanang.
Because it's an acknowledgement that they violated the Philippine Constitution, no less. And they're hoping to rectify it.
Malacanang asserts that the possible joint exploration of the Philippines and China and in West Philippine Sea is not unconstitutional. Rosalie Cost will tell us why.
President Rodrigo Duterte cannot be held liable on allegations that he violated the Constitution when he made a statement yesterday on a possible joint exploration in the West Philippine Sea with China. Malacanang insists it is the Supreme Court itself which has said that joint exploration and joint exploitation on mineral resources of the country can be undertaken by the Philippines with other foreign companies as long as there is an existing agreement and the Congress is notified about it.
Parang dalawa tayong may-ari niyan. Eh, di mas maganda yan kaysa awa. Alam niya hindi tatagal eh. Bibigay talaga sila. Ay, lang gulo. Kasi magkagera lang.
The existing jurisprudence is yes, we can enter into joint exploration and joint exploitation with foreign entities, provided that it complies with the Constitution, among others.
Roque clarifies that joint exploration does not talk about ownership because the Philippines only have sovereign rights over the West Philippine Sea. Sovereign rights is the right to explore and exploit the natural resources in the said area. Meanwhile, Malacanang challenged former Solicitor General Florin Hilbay, who said that President Duterte is violating the Constitution.
He's free to file an impeachment complaint if he wants. How can it be betrayal of public trust when the Supreme Court itself has said it can be done?
Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue, Malacanang.
Bureau of Customs Chief Isidro La Peña says gone are the days when the Bureau is slack on treating small packages. Victor Cosare will tell us why.
A parcel from California was seized by the Bureau of Customs in the Ninoy Aquino International Airport yesterday. The package worth 300,000 pesos belonged to Bo Aldrich Sikian. According to the Bureau of Customs, the package was declared as electrical pen and ink set. Sikian claimed the parcel in a courier company, and due to the standard operating procedure, the BOC examiner opened the package in front of Sikian. Upon opening, the examiner recognized the smell of the marijuana oil, which was confirmed by the K9 unit. According to Commissioner Isidro La Peña, all packages, even small parcels such as this, now undergo thorough inspection.
There's nothing that had passed through us in my time. We have been very strict on that.
Gerard Javier, Deputy Task Force Commander of the PIDEA NAIA Anti-Illegal Drug Interdiction Task Group, also adds that even though there is a local source of marijuana in the Philippines, many still prefer the imported ones.
Yung mga imported na mga marijuana is usually iba yung impact nila sa user.
Sikian was immediately apprehended by the BOC personnel and his parcel was turned over to the PIDEA NAIA Anti-Illegal Drug Interdiction Task Group for further examination. The suspect meanwhile refused to give a statement regarding the incident. Victor Cosare, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
The San Fernando City Police and City Veterinary Office seized around 300 kilograms meat that has no inspection certificate in Diversion Road, Barangay Biday, San Fernando City, La Union yesterday. The meat was supposed to be delivered to a hotel resort in Poro Point when authorities intercepted the goods. Authorities estimate the confiscated meat is worth 45,000 pesos. The goods have been turned over to the City Veterinary Office for proper disposition.
Tapos mishandled na rin yung meat. Hindi naman na i-travel through a proper vehicle. Kaya violation na sa City Meat Inspection Ordinance, Meat Inspection Code.
Residents of Tawi-Tawi have expressed their concerns and position regarding the Bangsamoro Basic Law or BBL in a public consultation initiated by the lower house of Congress. Aiko Miguel will tell us why.
In a congressional public consultation today, local officials of the province have expressed worry about reports that members of the Moro Islamic Liberation Front or MILF might replace them should the bill on the creation of a Bangsamoro region becomes a law.
Maraming bali-balita sa aming municipality. Papalitan daw yung mayor, palitan daw vice mayor, konsihal. Tinatanong namin kung saan sinong tao sila, kaya kwan daw sila sa mga MILF.
MILF Chairman Ghazali Jaafar, on the other hand, denies the report. Jaafar emphasized that under the Bangsamoro region, its people will be the ones to decide on who should be their leaders.
Hindi namin ginawa. Ang pagpili sa mga leaders ito in the future ay democratic.
One of the issues also discussed was the rumor that the 34,000 ARMM officials might lose their jobs. However, the lawmakers denies it, saying more jobs will in fact be created under the Bangsamoro entity. At the end of the public consultation, the stakeholders expressed approval of the BBL and believe it might bring positive results in the near future. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
The Olama or the traditional opinion leaders in Lanao del Sur appeal to the government that they also be consulted on the planned rehabilitation of Marawi City. Joanna will tell us why.
Unang-una, meron tayong sunod-sunod na kultura. Yung mga traditional leader natin, gusto namin makita kung ano ba yung rehab plan na yan. Maganda ba yan para sa mga Maranao o hindi?
This has been the call of Lanao del Sur Vice Governor Mamintal Bombit Adjong relative to the government's planned rehabilitation of Marawi City. Vice Governor Adjong adds this is to avoid any misunderstanding between the government and the Maranaos. President Rodrigo Duterte, on the other hand, reiterates during his visit yesterday in Marawi City the government's commitment to help rebuild the war-stricken city.
Kaya naman, sinabi ko sa inyo, right after the war, rehabilitation will always start immediately. You can show the sincerity of government. At least sa panahon ko, maniwala kayo kasi maranaw ang presidente.
President Duterte visited Marawi to check the other location where internally displaced residents may relocate. Joanna Demafelis, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Wish FM 107.5 gives a special treat to children and senior citizens of Caloocan. Leslie Longbowen will tell us why.
Mary Joy Galias wished to the FM station for a simple treat for children and senior citizens in her place.
Talagang ginagawa namin siya in December. At saka talagang naging na rin namin na tumulong kahit konti. Parang share blessings nga, no? Diba?
Residents of Barangay 177 in Caloocan City enjoyed the free meal from Wish 107.5.
Nagpapasalamat kami sa pagkain na binigay niyo po. Maraming salamat sa Wish FM na nagbigay ng tulong sa amin.
Salamat sa Wish FM.
Fried chicken.
Fried chicken. Gusto mo yung fried chicken?
Opo.
Sige, ano masasabi mo dahil nabigyan ka ng fried chicken?
Salamat po.
Mary Joy thanked the station for giving her a day to remember.
Kaya salamat talaga sa Wish. Pagpatuloy pa nila, tsaka more listeners to come.
Mary Joy is just among the many wishers who have their wish granted by Wish 107.5 as part of its Thanksgiving to its 2 million YouTube subscribers. Leslie Longbowen, UNTV News and Rescue, Caloocan City.
Those are the reasons behind the news, March 1, 2018. I'm Darlene Basingan. Because we need to know, we will always ask why. Thank you for watching Y News.